At the moment I'm trying to work out which Riley clutch parts I have. While I'm sort of waiting for bits and pieces so I can start work on the chassis, I'm looking at ordering bits and pieces from the UK for some of the stuff I do have that I can actually get working or tidy up and get done. So things like the axle, I'm going to order new kingpins and bushes for this. I'll clean it all up and paint it probably. The block is under here, which I've stripped the engine down. It was all rebuilt years ago, but then never run, so I've pulled it all apart again. Now I'm going to give it a really good clean up, make sure all the oil pipes are correct, and repaint it, all that kind of stuff. So that's under there for now. I've got the head up here, which again I'm just going to strip it all down, clean it up, regrind in the valves, get rid of all the silicone that's been used on it, because you really don't want that sort of stuff floating around in an engine. You can see on this though how it's got the hemispherical head. This is all pretty clean, so this won't take much to clean up, hopefully, and then I'll repaint it. But at the moment I'm trying to figure out flywheel and clutch parts. So what I have here, I obviously have two flywheels. This one's a little bit rusted and pitted, so I'm not sure that this is usable. This one seems okay, it's just very rusty, so I'm probably going to go and dump that in the molasses tank to clean the rust off it. And I've got two of these, which bit's this? The driven plate, I think it is. The one with the actual friction material on it. So I have two of these. I'll go through and I'll clean them up and carefully check for cracks and things. But what I've noticed is there are two different sorts, or I have two different sorts anyway. So this one has a much squarer hub to it compared to this one, which has this chamfer on it. So I'm not sure which is the right one. It's going to be a matter of trying to mix and match the parts to get the right set of parts, hopefully. I also have multiple of these covers. So this is where this goes on top. So that sort of goes on there, like that, and then gets bolted on, of course. Now these things, I've got several here, come in multiple parts. So I can get it apart. It's a bit tricky with one hand. I'm not sure I can get this one apart, but where's one that's already in bits? This one here, it actually has these two little ball races on it. These are all knackered, obviously, so hopefully I can replace those, although they do seem to be sort of riveted on, so I'll probably have to grind these off and then drill and tap them so I can put a screw through or something. This one has the release bearing and collar on it, but the other thing I've noticed is the hole through here is smaller than this, so this one won't actually fit because it won't go through. So there are obviously two different sizes of these things. I can't quite see how this comes undone because this all seems to be one part. It looks like that should unscrew, but it could just be because it's all so rusty I can't see how that works, but hopefully I can sort of get that off. If you look at one of these other ones, especially this one, you can see this is threaded. That's sort of an unscrewing collar, which on this one is rusted pretty well. And this also has pitting, so may not be usable, but this one looks pretty good because it's sort of stuck on that little bearing. But no, I can't get that loose. Can't get that one loose. But it's also missing two of these little cups, which are the things that hold the springs. So normally the clutch springs would go in there, Obviously I don't have any of the clutch springs either, but I'm sure you can get those new. This, no, it's definitely rusted together. These also seem to be different, so that one's flat and that one's flat, but this one here has a step to it, so I'm not really sure what the right parts are. So I'm going to post this to one of the forums I'm on and see if somebody can help explain it. One of the problems is these cars, you don't have a modern Haynes manual for them. Haynes? I can't remember. The modern sort of car restoration manuals, because they're too old. They're pre-war, so there we go. For example, this is my Haynes. It is Haynes. My MGB one, which is pretty well used. There's nothing like this for these Riley 9s. There are sort of manuals, but they're very basic, and they don't really explain a lot, which makes it a little bit tricky if you've never done one before. So I'm not sure if these parts are even usable. I may have to try and get a better condition clutch. But like I say, I'll probably go and dump these in the molasses tank just to get the rust off them without damaging them, and then see what I've got from there.